Hey there guys, Koza the Cat, and welcome to my Let's Play of Democracy 3. Now, with the election that came up just last week, it made me wonder about what would it take really to become a president or a political leader for a nation or country. And this game kind of lets you get a little bit of a glimpse of what you would be expected as a leader. So with that, I'm going to start a new game here. And Democracy 3 is really in depth. I gave it a little bit of a playthrough to see if I'd like to do it, and it actually has a lot of different things inside of it, and a lot of things that you have to consider. And so we're just gonna be United Kingdom, select that, end up being a monarchy, and so with our player party name, let's go with the Baconators. Because I love bacon. Who doesn't love bacon, right? For our position party name, I'm just going to put down the monster under the bed. There you go. And so our opponent's going to be the monster under the bed. So let's see here. Loading screen. Gerrymandering constituencies and inventing the internet. Because, the internet just got invented. And so here we are. Okay. Congratulations on your election victory. Welcome your new job as Prime Minister. The lives of 63 million citizens are now in your hands. As you imagine, there are a number of situations and concerns that you will need to deal with as soon as possible, while keeping an eye on the long-term improvement of our citizens' quality of life. Plus, do not forget that you will face re-election in 4 years, so you will need to monitor the opinion polls in our party membership. Good luck. Thank you, game. I will need all the luck I can get, because I have no idea what I'm doing. So let's see here. This is going to be like the general outcome, general synopsis of our welfare as a nation. First, we got our GDP, and it is very low, and we want to try and bump that up. Health is also pretty low, so we'll try and get that up as well. Education, it's not too good, it's not too bad either. Unemployment rate, and crime, oh my gosh, our crime rate is off the scales. Apparently we have a mobster in every home. But no, seriously, we need to figure out a way to get that down. I do have a couple of ideas. And last but not least, poverty. And that is not too good, but it's not too bad. We want to try and keep that low as well. So basically, the top half here, we want to keep high. The bottom half, we want to keep low. With that, let's begin our term of office. So this is going to be our main hub here. As you can see, there are lots of different buttons here that can basically overpower and overwhelm anybody who starts this game. But just for a general breakdown, this center area is going to tell you about everybody that's inside of our nation and the kind of subcategories that they identify themselves with. So socialists, patriots, middle income, and they can actually be part of multiple ones of these as well. So we can have a socialist commuter that has a middle income and is a parent. With that, we also have our three different colored buttons here. So the first one's going to be our white buttons, which is our policies. So this is what we can directly affect using our funds in order to affect outcomes inside of our nation. So such as income tax, we can use it to affect our earnings over here in the blue. And so the blue is going to be things that we can't control directly, but we can control using the policies that we make and the decisions that we make. And the blue affects these red icons over here. And this is what we don't want. We want to try and get all of these red icons here off of this HUD. And these are all the problems and dilemmas that are going on in our nation. As you can see, the street gangs is one of our dilemmas, and we'll click on that to get more of a detail of what is happening. As you can see, it's pretty high up there. It's ending up costing us about £2 billion per quarter just to deal with it. And so things that cause it include positive or negative, of course. It includes TV cameras, policing, poverty, and unemployment. Those two are really big contributors to street gangs. And so we'll have to find a way to bring poverty and unemployment down in order to lower our streaking's value. And so what we want to do is take this value down to the stop trigger. As you can see, the stop trigger is way down over here. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that. And so with my first quarter in office, I decided that I want to try and deal with crime in general. So we're going to go over here to the crime section. Click on that. And here we can see what affects crime and what brings it down. And so police force is generally a good start. Okay, click on that. And what's really good about this game is that you can just go through and look at every problem and just kind of backtrack through the cause and effects to see what's affecting them and what you can do to change it. So with police force, as you can see here, this is what each policy does, whether it be to the people here in the nation or to certain situations. And so whenever we scroll this up or down, you can see how it changes. We're going to bring it up to the maximum because, of course, crime is a huge, huge problem right now. So it's going to reduce our crime rate. It's going to reduce our violent crime rate. It's also going to decrease our unemployment just a bit because since we're investing into a police force, that means we want a bigger police force to handle situations, and so we get more jobs. And so that's actually very important when it comes to the income of a nation. And of course, you see here, vigilante mobs is going to go way down as well. So it's going to help out a lot. So over here, you might see a couple of numbers here, and this is our inertia. So just like real life, inertia is basically the weight of how long it takes for the changes to take effect. And so over the course of 4 turns, it's going to reduce our crime rate from our current standing to our final standing of negative 31.68, and so on. And so in order to also make these changes, we have to use what's called capital. So we get that every turn thanks to our board members up here. And it looks like it'll take us about 4 capital to raise the bar here. And so we're going to put it to maximum. We're going to apply these changes. Now let's see here. What are some other things that we can do? I see here. Go back to crime. Looks like community policing can also be an option. So we're going to click on that. It looks like it won't cost us anything to raise it. So let's go ahead and do that. Bring it up to maximum. Looks like it will cost us some money though. Let's see here. 2 billion up to 3 billion. So it costs us just $1 billion more in order to change it. So let's go ahead and do that. Confirm using capital. Let's see here. What else can we do here? Looks like we still have 21 points. You won't really be able to see it because my face is in the way, but in the top right corner is going to be how much total capital I have to use in this turn. And if I don't have enough, I can always wait for the next turn. And my cabinet here, each has their own set of capital that they contribute towards my turns. As you can see here, I currently have 21, and apparently I have a maximum of 0. But let's see here, I think that changes once I first start my turn. Let's see, what else can we do? It looks like there's a doctor strike that's going on, so let's see what's going on there. See, apparently it takes a lot for medical professionals to refuse to work, but the state of our health provision and the salaries of our health workers has resulted in a national health strike. So what we have to do is that, see here, State Health Service is actually causing a little bit of a negative into that. So let's click on that really quick. And it looks like it does have a direct correlation between that and the strike. So let's try and raise that up a bit. And as you can see, the more that I raise it, it actually raises it in proportion. So on some of these policies, you can actually get more bang if you end up doing it all at once rather than doing a little bit at a time. And so with that, let's try and put it somewhere in the middle so we got excellent healthcare. Of course, it's going to be very expensive for us because it looks like it reaches up to about 8 billion. But what can you do? Whenever there's a strike, you have to fix it. And eventually, overall, this is going to impact on our health. So let's apply these changes. Alright, so now that we've did pretty much all that we can do for now, as you can see, each of the icons are also put in little subcategories around here that kind of help organize it a bit, make it a little bit easier. But we used up pretty much a majority of our capital, so let's go ahead and go to our next quarter. Looks like we're lining up retirement directorships and fiddling with ministerial expenses. I wonder if the loading screen is actually trying to make a coup against the government. But let's see here. So this is our quarterly report. This basically tells us kind of how we're going, what we're doing, and what general direction we're taking as time moves along. And so sometimes it actually has us make urgent dilemmas that we have to fix. And so in this case, we have to do what's called stop and search. So there are demands from police for the power to stop and search people on the street if they believe that individual may be guilty of a crime. Currently, our police cannot search someone without formally arresting them. So let's see here. We can either introduce the powers. This will be a valuable weapon in the fight against crime. It should have a noticeable impact on violent and street crime, especially. If our citizens have nothing to hide, then they have nothing to fear from this law. Or we can leave it unchanged, which is stating that this is a very dangerous move to do the stop and search. It is wide open to abuse on racial grounds and will further distance the police from the community. Our citizens should be free to go about their lawful business without interference from the authorities. So it's very important that we actually read these, because by allowing the stop and search, good and bad things will happen. Firstly, it will reduce the crime rate. However, it will also increase racial tension from what it's saying, as well as from the second line is telling us that basically liberals aren't going to like it. But for the sake of this few terms that I'm going to be doing, we have to reduce that crime rate. So for now, we are going to introduce the powers of stop and search. Let's see here. Looks like there is currently a budget deficit of $14 billion. We need to reduce our spending or raise some more taxes. And so that's going to be one of the main ways that we're going to make money, is by either raising taxes or by reducing spending in other areas. And that's really a hard choice to make. Let's see here. Also, polls report. Let's see, only 10% will intend to vote for me in the next election. Well, 10% is 10% more than I thought we would have. So that's going in the right direction. Let's see here. So let's see what happened from our last turn and how it affected some of these different situations that we have going on. So firstly, it looks like the State Health Service is slowly going down. As you can see, it's not at its final state yet, as well as the trigger, the value is going down towards the stop trigger, which is a good sign. So if we leave it as it is, eventually the doctor strike, I believe, is going to go off of our HUD. That is a good thing. So with that in mind, what else do we have? Street gangs. As you can see, the police force and the community policing is working their way to reducing the value of the street gangs as well. So those are going in a good direction, but we probably need to do a little bit more to kind of influence crime rate and help it go down. So with that, let's start with implementing a new policy. Let's do that. Let's go for... Let's see here. I saw that the unemployment was actually pretty high there. So let's see. We also have to consider about the popularity of the policy as well, though, because if we don't consider the voters, they will not vote for us for the next term. So let's see here. Alcohol awareness campaign. It looks like it's pretty popular with the majority of the voters. So we're going to implement that, because if I believe, we're going to put that maximum. If I believe there's actually right here. Yeah. Sorry, alcohol abuse. So we have to figure out a way to bring that down. And even though community policing is taking its toll in the police force, we still want to be sure to figure out ways to bring down alcohol abuse. And if it goes away, it'll end up affecting the cost of the state health service, and it will raise back up our health. So basically, it's going to have the exact opposite once this goes away. So state health costs are going to go down, health is going to go up, crime is going to go down in the long run. And it's apparently costing us $9.5 billion to upkeep because of this problem. So the sooner we get that down and below the stop trigger, we're going to have that $10 billion for our disposal. So let's see what else we can do. Since we have a little bit of a deficit, I'm going to do a little tax raise, just a small one, particularly on the corporations, on businesses. It is often one of the main ways governments brings in money. And so with that, I'm going to increase, let's say, 4%. That way it'll increase our income down here in the bottom from 19 billion to 25. I like kind of like keep straight numbers. But let's see here. And that way it doesn't really make much of an effect, not too much on all of the different people here. As you can see, if I ended up putting all the way up, the GDP ends up going way down. And there's a lot of unhappy people, of course. Taxes does that. So let's do that. Put at 25 billion. Apply changes. Okay. And that actually took up a lot of our capital. So now we have about 7 left. Let's see if we can do anything else. If we decide to raise prisons, it will also help out lowering crime just a little bit. And it will give some employees. So it'll also lower the unemployment rate. So let's go ahead and do that. It'll cost us about $2 billion in costs per quarter, as well as take up the rest of our capital. But a lot of people showed that it was very popular, so I think everyone's going to enjoy that. And so going next, apparently the loading screen is fudging unemployment figures and turning a blind eye to corporate tax avoidance. We just raised taxes. That's not a good thing. Okay, so GDP. I need to figure out what GDP is because it's like going down a lot. Gross domestic product of your country. Okay, so let's see here. Blah 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 blah. All right, so the nation's overall wealth. Okay, so because of this general strike, it looks like it ended up putting our GDP way down. So we need to figure out how to get this general strike back down. In order to do that, we need to, looks like, increase port earnings. Because it says the number of key industries are crippled. Widespread dissatisfaction with the government has led to trade unions calling a general strike. And for the most part is probably because they just poor fares and whatnot. And so let's see here. We need to be sure to increase our poor earnings, because what poor earnings is basically anybody who's in the poor bracket. The higher this goes, the more money they are making, and it can actually move them out of poverty into the medium income. So let's see here what we can do. The wages are affecting them pretty harshly, and let's see here. Causes unemployment. We actually want unemployment to go down, and that's pretty high right now, but let's try and see if we can do anything to fix that. It looks like there's also another thing that we have to actually deal with right now, which is a debt protection law. So let's look at that. Debt collection agencies have been in the news because of the aggressive methods they are using to extract payment from people who owe large sums of money. These debt collection agencies provide credit to people whom larger, more respectable companies will not lend money. A law is proposed to limit the ways in which such agencies can operate. So let's see here. Basically, we can either limit agency activity and help out the poor people in society, which would actually be good to counteract the general strike. So we're actually just going to go ahead and click on that. So guys, I'm actually going to stop the video for now. We've got quite a bit of ways in our endeavors as a politician. And so please leave a like below if you like the video. Please leave a comment if you to see if you think that I've been going in the right direction, or if there are some things I need to consider as a leader. And of course, if you enjoyed my videos, please subscribe. With that, folks, thank you for watching my video. This is Koza the Cat. Me out.